then there is not a trail on this map that there is a trail there. We've used that trail for 50 years.
So Bob, you're talking about this trail right here?
Yeah. Right.
If that barely, I think we all agreed at the forestry committee meeting, the overlays and stuff on these maps are not necessarily, aren't 100%. So like in that situation, I wouldn't be really worried about it. Where we have to.
And then there's another trail that runs north and south on the backside.
We can't just keep talking about trail after trail. We have to do them one at a time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We can.
So, but let me finish, Jay. What I would be concerned with is like this trail. See how this trail goes all the way across that blue?
No, that's not going.
Okay, but I'm just using this as an example. If the trail that we want to get approved is going to go all the way across the blue like that, we need to have a picture showing them why it's good. In this situation right here, we could probably all agree pretty fast that, okay, maybe this trail is actually to the north 15 yards or whatever and does not touch that. Yeah. So it's the stuff where it crosses.
Yeah.
All the trails you're looking at are red right now?
Well, yeah, one of them is.
So, listen, we're on the field verified trails ready for acceptance. Who has some?
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about, Jay. They are field verified.
Okay. And you have pictures and like they asked for last time or not?
Well, we're just talking about that. And this is the wetland. We have a picture of it showing that there's no wetland.
But if there's no wetlands, why do we need pictures?
Yeah.
I don't think for that one you need a picture. That one, I would just write that up with the description. And to be honest with you, Bob, I don't necessarily know that you have to. I can probably look on my GPS and find the GPS coordinates for that trail where you don't have to go back.
Okay, so then on the backside of my property, this red line. Now, because we know this east-west trail is not going to be open because of wetlands, and there's wetlands to the north, they're not going to come in from the south. But we use this, and this is all high ground. And we have access off the back of our property.
Access to numbers.
Well, but over here off of Pluckerman's land, which is privately owned 80 acres.
Yeah, that's green.
You got green lines going down. So it isn't like, because mine is private property, that can't be opened off of my property.
Certainly it can be.
So.
So you just want it open like down to here?
Yeah.
But we gotta be able to point to this on a map when they get, when Nick gets here and have a number and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So can we take those two trails and be done with them? They should be pretty cut and dry. I mean, I ran them with Bob. They're really dry.
Yeah, I mean,
get the numbers to John.
I can show John exactly.
Yeah. I can just give them the Nick and be like, here we are looking at.
Deal.
Okay.
And then last Thursday, we were in off of Jew Creek Road and then to the north.
Yeah, let's hold on that. Because we're open up to there anyway.
You know.
So let's try to finish this and try to get it all in, cause that.
And we'll go spend another day up there.
Wow. Yeah, and.
I mean, guys, you understand, this is at minimum a 3-year commitment. We're not gonna be able to bring 40 trails every month.
I'd like to do a go around here and get that whole thing. So, I mean, do we need a motion or anything, or do we just do it?
All 2 or 3 of you have inspected this trail.
When we've gone out, it's the 2 of us.
And you'll be able to get the numbers to Nick.
You just gotta come in and point to them.
I mean, if you can fill out that paperwork and to Nick, and if anyone wants to go look at it, or you agree that they're handling that side of that county for now.
I could have, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, none of us are getting paid on the mileage apparently, and we're gonna lose, it's gonna cost me $1,000 a day to look at trails, so honestly it will. So I mean, we have to start taking some people's word for it, because Forresty's had 25 years to go do it, and no one will go do it.
Trail connections
Oh.
too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then this one, that's off the back of Bob's property. Down to,
Okay.
before it gets that well.
Okay.
Those, that
Okay.
Yeah, Ross off the back of my property. So, those places, he was back in there on that hill with the 9N4 mold. Yeah,
Yeah, well, 'cause, okay, so these two spots here, just so you know, are, it comes off this Kozak Lane, it's. that
He used
spot,
to work
that's
for,
I have all of
so those are molds for the park, but you
Well,
need
good.
to.
Oh, that? No, cause I'll go back and put them, we have those ones that we looked at that are laminated, and I'll just circle them.
John, what are we doing with these here?
So these two here that I got, you guys, that there's pictures of, it's the upstream and downstream side of the culverts. I know the trail myself, these were taken by, obviously a bear hunter that uses them. And they come off Kozak Lane north on F. And it actually comes out of private land as well. So basically said they can either open it up or we'll shut the whole trail down and the ATV trail coming through there, so. I was like, well, just call them, so, you know, it's all your old bud. But, so that's those two sets of pictures, they're stapled together, you have an upstream and downstream side. The reason why that trail was closed, obviously, because it crossed a blue line.
So that's been mitigated a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. So.
And that's from Kozak where?
It goes Kozak, right at the end of Kozak Lane goes north.
Okay.
So, Kozak Lane ends and there's a 40 there of private.
And you'll have those numbers?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll point them out tonight. Cause the other question, apparently a bunch of this is logged to get marked, or marked to get logged, and it does come through these people's properties where they haul the logs out, and they said,
They won't let them in.
well, they're not gonna, cause last time they did it, they crushed the culverts, and the logger didn't come back and fix them, after they reported it to the forestry department. That was of course quite a few years ago. They said if it happens again, they're not bringing the logs through, they can go all the way out and around.
So sidebar to that, I've had at least 4 different people in this county tell me if they don't really get aggressive on opening these trails, they will be stopping the snowmobile trails across their property, which is really sad, but that's what it comes down to, I can guarantee you. So you'll get the numbers of that too?
Yeah.
Has anyone got any questions
I
on
already,
any of
like
these
this one I
pictures?
already brought up to Nick too, so.
Looks pretty cut and dried.
It seems. Let's see here. And Nick told me he wasn't gonna be here, so I'm gonna send you guys the pictures of the ones I did from Stout Road going east to Excelsior Road. Some of you guys may or may not be familiar with that.
Years ago, I went across it.
Yep. I'm gonna send you those pictures. That's the start of it. You should be getting. Here's the culvert, first culvert crossing. And Nick will have these to put on his, here's the depth of it and what it looks like over the culvert. Sorry, this is the way we had to do this, but Nick wasn't here and I didn't know how else to do it, so. This is the long view of it.
Half a man and a bitch.
Is this trail red now?
It's unbelievable to me. He said that they've owned that cabin 22 years. It's looked like that the entirety of the time they're there. The portions of that are BH 1004, BH 1036, BH 1051, and BH 1080. Even
What Stout Road is this at?
about halfway up Stout Road goes east. And goes all the way out to Excelsior.
Must be on the west end of Excelsior.
At the very, right out to the very
Right
end.
off the end.
Yeah.
Goes right
Aren't
off.
they in there logging like 3 years ago?
He said there was about a couple 100 yard swath that they expanded, and you know what I mean? It was just tunnel through there, he said about 4 or 5 years ago.
This goes off the northwest, off the end of Excelsior?
Correct.
Turn
Yeah.
around?
Yeah. And I was gonna do, here is the, GPS. How it is, we drove through it. So it would overlay with Nick's map. That was, had 4 portions of that one. Honestly, if anyone wants to go look at it, they can, but I can assure you this, I could drive every vehicle I own down it without any trouble at all.
You drive your Prius down it?
Probably not the Prius, but, I mean, it's a good road.
The electric bike?
Oh, I take the electric bike through there 100%.
No, start using that more, think how much gas you'll save.
Then I gotta go home and plug it in, and then the coal powers are up. Anyway, so that was that. If anyone's got any questions on those pictures, fire away. I spent 3.5 hours over there and $40 worth of gas, so. Took the half day off from work.
I got a question, can trucks go down these trails?
They're just as of, not gonna, September 1st, open to something under what, 3,000 pounds? Or 2,000 pounds now?
It's 3,000.
3,000,
So there's a 3,000 pound limit.
yeah.
So the bear hunters can't drive their trucks down them.
Why, it's side by sides or whatever.
But no bigger.
Motorized vehicles, that's
Yeah.
what it is, motorized vehicles.
Well, but under 3,000.
If it's a good road and it's not gated, you can drive your truck on it.
Well, that's, I'm not sure of that, Bob.
Right now, I'll look right now, and I can send
Question
you.
I had this afternoon.
These are off of Stout Road.
I wanted to go along with asking that question, I can't answer it. I mean, I thought it was 2,500 pounds, or 3,000 pounds?
3,000 pounds.
Now they bumped it to,
So,
what, 4 years ago, Bob?
No, only a couple of years ago, and they were gonna go to 2,500. And then somebody else said, or the electric vehicle said, well, we're coming out with one and they weigh 2,750. So you're gonna have to go higher than that, so they went to 3,000. So your big battery systems in those electric vehicles.
so the pickups are out then.
Yeah.
If it's,
Is there a pickup under 3,000?
if there's a gated, if it's a gated trail that you can go around with a wheeler, you're limited to 3,000 pounds. If there's no gate on the trail, drive your truck in it.
Well, that's the question I had.
Yeah.
So
So
all
all of these green trails right now that are not gated, you're saying you can drive down with a pickup?
To my knowledge, open the motorized traffic.
That's the question I
John?
had, 'cause, yeah, John, how do you read that?
I'll have to look, I can't remember how it was, if it was an open access road that is open to trucks, or if it's open access just to ATV, UTV.
Well, you know, when we started this, it was motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
And then I just looking at that last ordinance, it's ATV, UTV.
That's what the sign says.
And they didn't wanna tackle, as I recall, they did not wanna separate it like they do in other counties. Every other county you can take, you know, just exactly what Bob did, but the way I remember Rusk County wanting to do it, it was gonna be ATV or UTV only.
Which makes a lot of sense, cause over by us, you go up the road another mile or two on state land, and you can go anywhere you want with a pickup, but you can't with a UTV or ATV.
Yes. But it's so segmented and so odd, and everyone has a different reason, they use the exact same reason for coming to a different conclusion. Having help with the state and other counties, they use, in some counties, they don't want ATV traffic, cause they say they Holstein cattle it out and waller down the center and all the water sits in the center, they'd rather have pickups, cause they spread out and make it better.
Well, now your side by side is just as wide as
Right.
max as these trucks are.
So we looked at another road that went into a old clear cut. You could drive 2 semis wide in this thing. It's portions of BH 1056. It goes south off of Excelsior Road. The road is as wide as this, hard as a rock. Rock.
Turnaround on the end?
I'm sorry?
Off that turnaround on the end? You going
So
south?
it's back 2/3 of the way. And and it goes south, and I'll send you the pictures here too. I'll tell you how many I've got, Connie, just in a second.
Okay.
And, all right, give me a second.
Well, Climate logged back in there a couple of years ago.
Bear with me, guys. Here's the GPS picture of it. Coming south, that blue arrow. I want to go back on that other trail. The guy said that, maybe I said that, but he said that looked like that for 22 years. That road's looked exactly the same, that last one. It shows this trail crossing a waterway. It's got within a 5-year-old culvert on it, and it's hard packed rock and gravel.
Your trails look a whole lot different than our trails do. Ours are all grass and no traffic at all.
Why would that have been written in the first place?
I don't know. They were floored when they looked at the map and seen that that was a closed trail.
Well, probably because we didn't, it probably goes across the blue line and we didn't know that there was a culvert there.
That's what Forestry, the way I recall, John, Forestry said this is what we'll accept, and you guys are, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they knew was good, so now we're inspecting the ones that we can find out are good. But, I mean, this is better
There
than
were
some
some of
town
them
road.
literally that we did have mine, they're like, oh no, this trail's horrible. I can't tell you which ones they are. It could be some of these, they might not be, I don't know. But they're like, oh no, these are terrible, these are terrible, these are terrible, and I'm like, okay, well, at some point you gotta be like, oh yeah, this one could be used, so.
There were 5 pictures there, Connie.
Okay.
And I looked these over, and I would ask that you guys let us move that to the Forestry Committee in full, and if you got any questions on any of these trails, I'd be happy to answer them.
I know the discussion came up, you guys had sent one in Forestry and Nick went out and looked at it this last week. And yeah, there's some water in it or whatever right now.
No, there's no water.
I don't know which one it was, but whatever they went and looked at.
So those pictures that were in the email, you went and looked at those?
I think those were the ones. Him and Jared went.
Let me go to these, because I wanna make sure,
okay.
yeah. So does anyone have any questions on these trails? All in favor, or
No, you need a motion.
do we need a motion to move it forward?
Need a motion to send all the trails.
Okay, do we have any more trails that are up for field, that are been field verified?
I'll make a motion that we approve these.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Alright.
All those opposed? Okay.
Oh, they look like good roads and a good driver or whatever. No reason to be closed, they do the job.
So what they were discussing is, I don't know if there was water in some of those spots or if there was something else you guys brought up to them. It's whatever they went out and looked at. But due to the fact that the Glen Flora area does not get the traffic like the Blue Hills, like you just said, well, your guys' trails look a lot different than ours. Yours has grass. It comes to an issue of where, you know, this trail may have some areas of concern, but right now it's not a concern, but we'll open it and keep it as like it gotta be monitored. Maybe a year to year field verify that it's still okay. Because, you know, like if some of your trails, seriously, were in the hills, there's no way they'd ever get opened due to the amount of traffic.
But those trails have looked that way for 20 years too, right?
Yeah.
They just don't get the traffic.
Yeah, that one hasn't. That one's only looked like that since they logged it.
Well,
Yeah. And I don't know if that's what they went and looked at.
So is this what we're talking about now?
I don't know if that's what they went and,
That is, yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
cause they went and looked at it and said there were some areas of
Alright.
concern.
You know, when Ross sent those pictures and I went and looked at those berms, when I first looked at those berms, I was not very happy at all, and I just assumed right away they put those berms in for the sole intention of shutting the public off. The more I thought about it, I'm thinking, you know, that's probably what they're being taught in forestry school, to put in berms like that. And because you look at all around the state, what the forestry department's trying to do, close the trails to the public, every county, right? I mean, most of them are. And because those berms, and Johnny, you and Nick should be having a bird about what they're doing out in the forest. This particular
I brought up
spot,
a lot of stuff to them, but it's not to their concern.
this particular spot, that trail now is gonna be bare for the better part of 2 years. If you look at right above Connie's head where it washed a little bit, okay, there's a little bit, and Jared made the comment that trail never should have been opened because that gully does not meet the 10 inches by 66 feet. He is full of shit.
okay, hold on, guys, seriously, just a second, we gotta work with these guys long term.
Jay,
I don't
know.
care, Jay.
Well,
They can't pull this crap.
so
If that gully is maybe, what, 4 to 6 inches deep? And okay, look at how grassed it is. This spring that was all bare. Now it's grassed up. Johnny, is that gonna wash much more?
The gully might, if it's not, is there grass in it now?
That was the recent picture. No, that gully's gone now because they completely.
yeah,
Well,
now,
the
now
top
the road looks
is
like the
the
top
top
picture
picture,
again,
yeah.
so we're starting
Yeah.
back from
So now
scratch
you're
again.
starting from scratch.
And they don't seed anything.
Yeah. See, that's where and I've never seen what their VMPs or what their,
You and I are very
it's like,
familiar with
gravel,
ag, right?
yes, but like gravel pits.
Yep.
They have a reclamation plan they have to fill out. So when they reclaim a mine, I have to go out there, or if they even put it into,
Any road project,
road projects, yeah.
they all have to be seeded
But they gotta
with
be,
erosion
yeah,
control.
3-to-1 slopes, seeded down, erosion control measures taken.
These guys aren't seeding anything. They're doing nothing
And that's
for
where,
erosion
and there's
control.
financial assurance that goes with all of this, and I brought that up to them, well, we did it in one meeting. So why are they getting their financial assurance back if the trail doesn't meet the standards? So that's something, and I've never seen what basically it is a reclamation plan that they're writing. How are they gonna reclaim or finish the road, when they're done?
It was like the lower picture above Connie.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the top picture there.
Yeah.
Which one is more susceptible to erosion?
Obviously, the top one is. I mean,
Yeah.
the bottom one was a simple fix.
We just went backwards.
Yeah.
But they got their 3-foot berm in, so we can't utilize that trail.
So I'm gonna tell you what Jared called me today.
Okay.
He said he wishes the berm hadn't got that high. He said it was supposed to be water bars. He said it was very unfortunate timing that we'd opened the trail and then the contractor showed up to do what they were supposed to do. He wished it hadn't went down like that. He said, I asked him if that trail was open for use by the public, and he said yes. So I don't think we should, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, where it's frustrating you, but the trail is open, and once it's,
You can't use it because you can't get over the berm. So is it open? No, they closed it.
send Chris up there with his four-wheeler to drive over the berm.
Chris already looked at it and chickened out. So did I.
Well, we'll talk about that later, but, I guarantee I will make it over that berm. Berm takes, I mean,
Yeah,
you've
but
seen
listen,
me.
It's an open trail.
Yes.
And so I don't think we should go back and, I know some of us aren't happy with how that went down, but the trail is open, Jared assured me it's open. He tells me that in order to make the BMP, because he thought that rut was out of the standard, they needed to do the water bar. He said the water bar is aggressive and he wished it hadn't got that top. And I hope I'm not overstating what he said, but he said it was very unfortunate timing and the water bar got too hot, too tall.
So it's a water bar, not a berm.
They call it a water bar.
Well, they put them in, I know that, see, like, they put the one in off, the road right, that goes south off of the Weirgore Road there. I call it the dump road, 'cause there's all that crap piled up there, right before the hemlock bottoms.
Were they there just the last couple of days?
I don't know if they're in the last couple of days, but see, like, there you go down a steep hill and back up. And I mean, again, 2012, I drove my truck all the way back in there. Now you can't because they're using them as erosion control. Side by side still going, but I mean, they're only this tall.
That's
So,
the smaller
If
one.
that's what they're called, but I'm saying that's what that shouldn't be called a water bar or whatever. These are, and all it is because it is seriously just up and down like this. So it's to make the water comes down and goes off.
And
It
I
takes
get that.
it takes that off in sections. I mean, you still have to have some kind of ditch.
I would high center mine side by side on that.
Yeah.
On the smaller one. The other one, you can't get over with anything.
Go ahead, Don.
Okay, a couple things. They're using Paul's old standards for these water bars, and he was wanting to shut the trails off.
Mm-hmm.
So these water bars, how high should they be? They're definitely too high.
And I don't know what the definition, what the standard is for a water bar,
And you're,
because I don't deal with those.
grass, they have some darn good grass. That Violation Road has got grass that high on it already.
So,
And that, let me finish.
yeah. We're way off agenda, I'm just trying to move on.
No, we're not. This is what we're here to talk about.
That Violation Road, is that red on this map? I can't see it. But that road.
I'm
should
sure
go-
it is.
But the water bars are so high on that road, you get it's a walking trail only. But it's the standard they've used for all these years, to make them high. They don't have to be that high.
I don't know what the standard is for, so I can't say anything.
And
I
it's
think
better
standards has
policy
to
at the end of the
move
road,
water off. Whatever amount of water comes out has to be.
it's better policy at the end of the road to put a berm up, basically to stop the use of it. They don't need to do that either. If it's an open road.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, that's just, I don't know whose policy that is, so.
Paul had that, and he enforced that, now they don't, they just let it go, I think.
So,
In answer to your question, is it a red road? Is it a closed road? Yes.
It is red.
It is
And
red.
that should be one we should put up open then.
Maybe later next week, I'll come up and we'll go right.
Well, I would know.
Okay, I just sent you guys a picture. What this picture is between the two berms on that same trail. This is a mud hole, a long mud hole that hasn't filled with water yet now. This is on top of the ridge, on top of the hill. And obviously when the bulldozer was going from one berm to the other, he dropped his blade. They must like plowing snow, because that's exactly what they're doing here, is they're plowing everything to the side. Now we have a gully on top of the ridge,
That's a wreck the
for
road.
no reason.
Yeah, that's a wreck the road.
So, my suggestion would be to take that up with Jared
I will.
and take it up with the forestry committee and your board members. The purview of this is to field verify trails and take on trail requests. There's nothing any of us can do about this except go complain to Jared, or, you know what I mean,
I'm
seriously.
not so sure I agree. We're in charge, we're the trails committee, correct? Our scope is, I don't agree with you, Jay. Our scope is more than just saying, you know, we think this trail should be open. We're the eyes out in the country, right?
I agree. And that trail's open, right?
For right now, but
Yeah,
it's
Until
been
it
done.
starts to rain a lot or something, because he said it's supposed to be monitored and with, you know.
well, there's,
from
what I
now
was
on.
saying was some, I don't
So,
know if this is that
if it's
trail or what,
monitored, it's
but,
Probably gonna get shut down
yeah.
eventually.
And like,
It's
that's
gonna
Nick
wash
and-
out.
What Nick and I discussed the other day was, you know, due to the little amount of usage, like you guys are the ones that use those trails the most up there.
So our
You know,
country.
you don't have like the tourists and just, you know, like the hills have. So it's like, that's where you guys are kinda on the lucky side, 'cause the trail, like, yeah, it's teetering, well, let's monitor it. Every year we need this spot, this spot, and this spot, let's say, checked. If it's still good, it stays open. If it gets bad, then we gotta look at closing it, you know? But the one thing you guys need to remember too, everything on that map is open once the ground is frozen. And you can go anywhere to get a downed animal. Because that was the number one question I had, especially off the hunter walking trails up there in the hills. My buddy asked, he's like, I don't care that they're closed, but he said, I want to know if we shoot a bear in there, can I go in and get it? The answer is yes.
Those hunter walking trails, are there some trails that are closed because they got funding or whatever for walking trails?
Yeah, that's what those are.
Are there any over in our part of the world?
No, not that I know of.
So we don't have to worry about that.
No.
Get them off the W up there.
That's the ones that I'm talking about.
So would you like to put some of those in on the public trail request?
I did last meeting. We talked about that one. You could
go
drive
inspect
you
them?
could drive your Prius in there, any day.
I think that we could get together and talk about this every day and complain about the way it's went down and the way it's happened for I agree with Rod, they give us a great, go for it. So let's go forth and start inspecting these trails and taking pictures and systematically working on them so we can get them open. Once they're open, we'll just continue to go forward. If one gets closed.
Yeah, but I think we also need to have a plan that the objective should be to keep them open.
I think that's the whole point of opening them.
No, it's not when they get open, and stuff like that happens to them.
See, the problem with our country is just like when I made a yard. I had Van Dorn's bulldoze it because I told them to. See what happened after that, then I got Jay there filling it in because the topsoil's gone. It holds water. So when he did what he did, I thought that, is it gonna stay open? If anyone goes back there, that's gonna wash out. And I'm not blaming anyone. They don't know, but I think they should talk about it with Jared and not always use that method.
So what I have done in this circumstances in other areas, I have called the county forester or the state forester, asked if the bond was given back, and if it wasn't, to send them back there with a bulldozer and fix it up right.
Because that's what the assurance bonds are for.
Yep.
It's the same with the reclamation of gravel pits. You guys own a gravel pit and walked away. Before that even starts, you have to have an assurance bond that if something were to happen and you were to walk away, that the county has the money to go back and fix it. Same with the loggers. They have an assurance bond that their trails or roads, the logging practice will meet BMP standards. They don't get it back until it's been approved.
And that was the fix, so they could get their bond back.
But I'll bet you the bond has not been sent back
I
yet.
bet you it hasn't been sent back. That's where you gotta talk to them. Cause I brought it up to them before too about that, the same thing. So.
That's part of closing out the sale that they talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why the guys there doing the work. So get to the forestry Tuesday morning and make a complaint of some sort, whatever they have, and say, we want this guy to go back with a bulldozer and do it right this time.
We shouldn't have to tell them that, but they.
Well, if we don't place them, no one else.
Yeah, I'm surprised they put water bars in.
To answer your question, Jay, in the minutes,
Like I said, I've never seen that.
section 22, I asked for verification that
I've never put a water bar in anywhere.
But did you go look at it?
Again, I have, yes.
Do you have
And I
any?
had 3 Minnesota cars in there, your Prius was in there. What am I supposed to do?
Well, I apologize, Don, if you want one of us to go with you to get the pictures, but is that a hunter walking trail now? Is that what they've done to it?
It's got a black line on it, and that's the question.
They're the hunter walking trails off of,
Going into the Felsmere?
yeah.
Okay.
Not going toward this one going west, it ends
Well,
up on that high hill, like
mostly
Dundy's
all
Canyon,
of it, but
overlooking Dundy's Canyon.
yeah.
Beautiful spot. It's a
All of
beautiful
that,
spot.
all of that was put in with hunter walking trail funds, and I understand on their highways for logging trucks. I don't care if it's 50 feet wide or a foot wide. They were always, according to the forester, they were always considered hunter walking trails. But they never
Can we get a copy of that contract or whatever?
We will have to go to them and,
That's what I tried to get, I asked for that.
Connie, do we have to officially request that, the contract for the Hunter walking trails to see what it actually says?
Boy, that's really old.
We can try to, I mean, so you're a committee, we can try to find it for you.
Most of that money in other counties has run out, and they don't
Yeah.
even do them anymore.
no.
I mean, that was there when,
Right. It was Pittman Robertson funds, most of it, it's all gone.
It's all Pittman Robertson
Yeah.
funds, yeah.
It's all gone.
If it's all gone, is that requirement still there?
I don't think it is.
Who's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
come in,
sure,
who's
man.
gonna- what's gonna change? Logging trucks are going in and out, the public's going in and out of there. Why don't you just put up an open sign?
So let's take a ride over there, or maybe Bob, cause I'm gonna be on a short vacation. But I would be happy to do it if I need to, or Dave, or someone. You got a side by side, right? We'll go look at it, take some pictures. And maybe at the next meeting, Jared and them are off on meetings doing what we want them to do, figure out things. We'll look it over and we'll see if we can attempt to get some access in there. Cause it's a huge block of woods, I'm familiar with it.
We're talking the Felsenburg area.
Well, that.
That area,
The
yeah.
Felsenburg area is gonna be the toughest one because it is a environmental sensitive site.
Right.
I'm
You
not
can fight
saying,
that however you want, but
I'm
that's
not
even
saying
at
that
the,
trail, this is.
and I understand that one, but that one's even at the
If you're
state.
calling it a walking trail, nobody walks past the end of the road, there's no trail,
still in.
that's it.
It's not
Turn around.
contract. Are we really in agreement?
The fellow's gonna, that's. gonna be-
I mean, and we should want some varied access, you know, if you can ride your ATV within a half mile of Fellsburg, they can walk it there. I don't think there's any reason.
I've not been down that way.
Oh,
Well, at one point, I put up on the pine tree, on the actual trail, logging trail that goes through there, that we ride through, I put up a no ATV sign on a tree, and most people honored that. And so then it's like,
They replaced those signs, the one that goes around the
200
north side, they replaced that sign 4 out of 5 years. You put a no ATV sign, it gets stolen.
well, I was pleasantly surprised this one stayed up for 5 or 6 years before someone took it down.
Yeah.
so Don, you're talking off of W, heading west, you pull in there to gate.
Slack Road going to
Slack Road.
Slack Road, okay.
There's no gate, no nothing.
There's 2 different trails, one takes you to the Felsenburg, one takes you to Gundy's Canyon.
Okay, towards Gundy's and,
I went down to one toward the Fellsburg, probably half a mile, and I turned around, it's too, that's too trail, I don't know how far it goes.
Well, it's a 1.5 mile walk in, but you're gonna go in about 3/4 of a mile, and it actually kinda does a Y. You stay to the left, and it'll take you down to where you go into Gundy's Canyon.
so do we have any other public trail requests? Are you guys got everything over there cleaned up that you want?
We're working on
We're not done looking, for sure.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I do have a question though, we've got one trail that, it's a super nice trail all the way through, but there's one spot where it catches the end of a wetland, it's where the old main trail definitely goes through a wetland. There used to be a go-around trail, they logged it this spring, and of course they wiped the go-around trail off. If we go in there and resurrect that go-around trail so that it does not go through that wetland at all, is that eligible to be opened then?
Here's what I,
Like how,
With that,
like resurrect the trail, like how?
by hand for ATVs
Like,
and
are you
UTVs.
clearing it or what?
Yeah, throwing the tops out of the
Oh,
way,
okay.
basically.
I don't think that's an issue, I mean, you may wanna bring it to forestry, as long as you're not like building a road.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought when you said wiped it out, I'm like picturing a
Well,
bulldozer in there.
There was always a trail around this, because it's just a real.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so,
And so then when they came in and logged it, yeah, well, then let's put all of the tops in there.
so just like the snowmobile trail, snowmobile people have their elected officials and they get to maintain it. The ski trail people, the ATV people, the boat club people, who am I missing?
I don't know, those horse. Well, horse
Oh,
trails
yeah.
are, they're the ski trails.
So there's been some talk of starting an organization, and that's probably what's gonna need to be done, and then you could collect up some funds, just like the ski trail people are begging people, these organizations all the time for money. not begging, but, you know, asking, and the Snowmobile Club is holding fundraisers and all that, and maybe if we had some money to put into this, and we put some skin in the game, they would be much more receptive to fixing some of this stuff. And I think that just like those organizations are, you know, a collaborative, you know, cooperative effort, I think that if we had an organization like that would move forward here, you'd probably have some ability to get something more done. You could work with the Rusk County Wildlife Restoration possibly. They have a machine, they have money available. I mean, not just them, there's other people you could get that could probably do some of this, but us trying to figure out what we can get the forestry to do. A lot of forestry units have bulldozers and backhoes and they go do all this stuff themselves. Ours doesn't, and for whatever reason, that's the way it's been set up. So it's gonna have to be an effort by the public to do some of these things. So if you wanna look at that trail, we'll make sure that it gets looked at and some pictures taken.
Yeah.
And
I
that's,
think
and
we'll
then,
work on it first, but yeah, you know, throw some tops out of the way and stuff for them. But I just wanted to make sure that that's, you know, that's acceptable. And I have talked to Jared about that trail too, about, you know, doing a nice trail around there. And he said, that's fine, who's gonna pay for it? So, you know,
that's the whole
there you
problem
go.
all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, just, we have to get more proactive if you wanna keep, and it's such a vast, expansive county with different interests and user groups that we have to, but I mean, I don't wanna be bashing on people, I just wanna move forward all the time with as many open as we can get that are usable. Is there any other than Slack Road going west to Gundy's and the Felsmere you wanna look at, Don?
Yeah, cause I've been looking at all those green trails, I wanted to find something, make my time worthwhile, I did, here, section 2. Up there, on your map.
But like I said, we can't be bringing 20 at a time to the county board, we just cannot. Or to the forestry committee, these guys have jobs and they're trying to be
Well,
places too.
and I wasn't at the last meeting, but why do they have to pick apart each one?
I think that's their job. I mean, seriously, it is, they can't just take our word for it every time.
We didn't have things very well organized last time either.
Because
That was the first
meeting,
one.
right.
Having this form and knowing exactly what pictures we need or whatever is going to speed it up. It was kind of
Helpful, yep,
It was
really
kind of
helpful.
a cluster, the first meeting.
Okay, section 2, what trail are you talking about, John?
Just on the right side of the number 2 on the map, that's where the shelter wood is at, where they got all the oak trees standing.
Okay, well, you got a green line going north,
Yeah, well, then it turns into red.
and then it turns into red because that's a drainage of wetlands and a drainage.
That could fool me.
Which one's got the numbers?
Yeah, we see the funny one on there. I tracked it on my Onyx Hunt, and it's a good road almost to the county line. Right there.
Now here again, that could well has a culvert put in it, and they're doing the red lines off of
There's a
the
culvert,
area.
there's a culvert in one spot already. It's a culvert in one spot already, it's a nice road.
Well, see, it could well have a culvert in, and that's where we need to go in and take pictures of it to document it. And then if the rest of it's all high and dry, that's like the culvert you said is in South John Anderson's road.
That possibly is.
County trail that goes south, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna need some money to, somehow that got fixed up a little bit, but it's not gonna last very long. We need about 3 loads of gravel in there. Cause the trail now is narrow.
So if there's a culvert right there.
Actually,
They're walking in there right now.
If there's a
No,
culvert.
not that one, they're not.
So Jay, it's BH
They're going in from,
65.
off the Inberg set,
Yeah.
logging that they're doing back.
No, I'm talking south of me.
Oh,
Is it a segmented trail with multiple
Yeah, that was good.
It's
portions
segmented.
of that?
There's, yeah, it makes a loop. So it depends on what's over, what you
Yeah,
We approved that
that.
last meeting.
It's close because it's wet.
After a lot of argument,
I don't think you know what to do.
Oh,
I don't know as far as it was a good road, but it is.
because here again, it shows
Well,
it's,
And BH 64. With the cutoff being page 25.
We need to really thank
So
Nick
what
for
you
having
gotta,
these numbers.
what you gotta look at is if there's a culvert there.
Well, when we initially talked about it.
Okay, so that's where you gotta get a picture of that culvert. Upstream, downstream
Thankfully,
side
you
of the
started
culvert.
it then.
And Brandon said, here's a culvert that's in that area, cause that's why it shut down, is cause you can't prove there's a culvert there.
I didn't know that was done.
I didn't either.
I know we had a number.
Here again, I tried to go
We'll
twice
call it
last week.
documentation down.
Nope, not in,
Yeah.
nope, not in.
They wanna be able to put these pictures right on the map up there as, that we take,
Mm-hmm.
right there in case someone wants to see it.
This is red now too.
It's red and it's stopped back
So
here
then
because it goes
what,
into that.
supposed to take the
And this
picture
drain
and then
drains out of there.
email it to Nick.
He said it will probably come with the GPS coordinates right on it, you can pull it right off there.
I don't go from home.
There's a lot of learning I gotta do that.
The sound line will be
Your
off.
phone probably does it.
That's what he said, your phone will do it.
You don't even realize
Sound
it.
line, sound line.
Well, he'll be able to pull them up on this map. Chris, do you have any trails you wanna request someone to look at?
No.
Ross has got it under control.
So far, maybe we'll do some.
That's what I brought this on.
Yeah,
Look at this.
oh, he's gonna put, you should put the sections back on there too.
I'll tell you, the GPS coordinates right on it.
Any more red ones that I want up here?
So how'd you do that?
Anyway, any more requests? Otherwise, we're gonna set another meeting date.
So where does it give you coordinates? I don't know, but it has it.
Is that the new trail we're gonna go on?
Let's do it quick.
Might be it.
Here's the numbers on Kodak. Gauge 1328.
This is the one you've already.
Yeah, these are the ones with the pictures, so there's culvert here and culvert here.
Can't read that, I ain't got no
PH
glasses.
1328. 1337. And 1325.
We'll see, we'll see next month.
The other thing I wanted to mention.
Right here. Yeah.
Anybody know anything about the Avenza maps?
I got it on my phone, but I'm already into it.
Well, yeah, 'cause I talked to Dave the other day, and that's what they use, is the Avenza maps. And he updates them all the time. So I downloaded it, but I'm lost beyond that.
It's a good map, real good map.
Click on info. Right here where it says-
You don't wanna run it down, really, eh?
All right, do you have any more, John, that you want, your buddies wanted to look at?
Nope, that was the only one. It's the only one.
And Ross, you got any you're wanting to look at? You guys will look at them and fill out the paperwork as we go.
Yep.
Okay. There's no public here to do it. When's the, when the,
No, the one on your trail. that we approved.
when are you got a whole month off?
Pretty much.
Will you take an afternoon to come to
This was
this
it, the map, it's
4:15?
pretty detailed.
Volley, you know, volleyball will be here. If it ends up being, say, I just missed the volleyball.
They show you my hairless bear?
Yeah, you gotta work on it.
All right,
I'm
so
gonna go see Dane and figure out how to.
will you tell Connie what, when you could do any, and you're after 4:30 or 4 o'clock every day?
Okay. I got a picture.
I can do any except, 22nd and 23rd of September.
Both coordinates on
I gotta actually work those 2 days.
an apple, is it?
No, it's not an apple.
Well, I'm just gonna be pushing buttons.
And then,
I'm definitely not available the 18th or 19th either, so. You pick a day right toward the end, right before the forestry if you could.
I'm sure there's a way, but.
That'll give us plenty of time to look this over, cause we're all gonna, some of us are gonna be very busy.
So what are you looking at, Jay?
Forestry is typically,
Trying to figure out what it's gonna be.
Third Wednesday, isn't it?
20th at 3 o'clock, I already looked, that's when the forest.
Fourth and 20th?
you wanna do what?
That's Tuesday?
20th at 3, yeah.
We don't need to meet before that, too. I mean, we got enough,
Well,
we got some trails.
yeah, I don't wanna bog these guys down,
Yeah.
they're busy guys, they don't wanna be.
Yeah.
Next forestry meeting is when?
That's 3, yeah.
I won't make that one.
Well, the 18th.
I can do the 18th for sure. The week prior to that possibly, but that's not giving us much time. Unless you wanna meet after the next meeting and then, cause I know
We
several.
don't need to meet before forestry, do we?
No, that's the, oh no, I'm sorry, the end of next month. Yes, I'm,
Like the 28th?
yeah, I'm complete, yeah, I'm sorry about that, I was thinking.
Okay, so the 28th would work fine.
That's
At
4 weeks.
4:30, you wanna do that?
Bring a birthday cake or what?
Whose birthday?
Yours?
75.
Well, we can do that.
I've got a party.
Can we do what do we do, 4:30 this time? Okay,
Is that okay?
I think that works.
So the 28th, September 28th.
Yep, and I booked the room.
Everybody likes that late meeting?
You can't go till after 4.
I work till 4.
Oh, okay.
I'm not retired yet.
I don't, for me, that don't fall, it's just like today, I've been up since 4:30 yesterday
You
afternoon.
guys tell me again.
So that day will be the same for me.
You gotta work those.
I'm done the morning of the 28th, yeah.
Well, that's when you go back to work after being on.
Hey, what roads did you wanna have, are you gonna bring to the forestry, off of River Road?
Yeah, what road did they come off of?
That I showed you?
Yeah.
Those are off the packet.
Hackett, okay.
Road.
The one across from me,
Yeah.
and the one behind my place.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We need to get with Nick so we got those zeroed in better, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys wanna just literally come down right now, I can just circle them on our maps. Cause then he can just pull them up and then, since he's got them numbered.
Can do that.
You got a numbered map for us?
I don't have a numbered map, or Nick has that on his computer.
Okay.
So, you might have the Blue Hills one with the numbers, I bet it's probably still sitting on the plotter, so I can print it, but it doesn't, he's gotta change the road colors. Cause he never,
You
sometimes
did
like
some
those,
yesterday when I was there.
yeah,
Time.
the colors, they look good on the computer, then you print them, we can't, like that. And then the sections and stuff.
Can we get a motion to adjourn?
When's the next meeting?
September 28th.
28th at 4:30.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Next meeting adjourned.
Okay, here's my hairless guy. He has got some hair back, but like what's causing it? Do you guys know?